Well, greetings, everyone. This is your host, Sonia Keith, and I am super excited to bring another dynamic woman to our show. We are so excited to have her, and her name is Simene Walden, and she is the CEO of the Student Teacher, and we're going to hear more about that. But just real briefly, let me just share with you. She is a daughter, a teacher, speaker, writer, and a three-time best-selling Amazon author, and has self-published 6 books in the last 10 months. Wow. I cannot wait for you all to hear from this amazing woman. So please, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest, Miss Simene Walden. Hello, superstar.
How are you, Miss Cheyenne? Thank you so much again for allowing me the opportunity to come on your show and share. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's truly my pleasure. I just love meeting so many amazing women, and I'm just have goosebumps about it. And so I truly am excited. But for those who don't know you and for our listening audience, please share who you are, who you serve, and just a little bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Simene Walden, and I go by the Student Teacher, and that's the name of my business. In the arena of education, I refer to myself as the fire shut up in Jeremiah's bones. So I help
Ooh.
ignite and reignite the passion in you to make a lasting impact on this now and next generation. And according to Jeremiah 29, but if I say I'll never mention the Lord or speak in his name, his words truly burn in my heart like a fire, and I'm trying to hold it in. I just can't do it. And so I'm a teacher by vocation. I've been teaching in the public school for about 14 years now.
Okay.
And I received that name from the Lord probably a year and a half or so in prayer. And I didn't understand what all that meant for a while. And I just, just kept saying, okay, the student teacher, student teacher. But as he started downloading to me different things to do in the education arena in which I already work in, I saw how it all was tying together for the good of what he wanted me to do. And so I grew up, I'm originally from North Carolina. I
Okay.
live in Maryland now, and I just have a passion for young people, a passion for children, because I see so much of me in what these kids are going through now. I see so much of me in these young boys, even in the young girls. And so
Mhm.
it's just been amazing to allow the Lord to take my brokenness to be a blessing to somebody else, especially young people. And so that's pretty much who I am in a nutshell.
Well, that is just amazing. I truly love individuals who have a passion for children, and I do believe education is key. And so, tell us a little bit more about your company and the student teacher. Like, what services do you offer?
Okay, so my primary service is geared towards new teachers and teachers that are transitioning into the educational system.
Okay.
Because what I realized before I was saved and before my heart was transformed, I was like a lot of the teachers that I see now who really didn't care, who were teaching because the schedule was permissible for our summers off and holidays off. And so it was just kind of like a job. And when the
Right.
Lord started turning my heart, then I start to see those kids in a different light. And then I start having compassion and more patience. And then I was speaking life into them. And so I feel like if I can reach more people, more educators, more parents, that the Lord can turn our hearts, he can turn the whole system around. And so I help new and transitioning teachers just kind of realize the heart of a teacher. Why are you in it? And then how can you benefit these children in a positive way? I help with parents to help them advocate for themselves and advocate for their children as they go to school. Because a lot of times, being that I work in a Title I school, I've worked all my life, you get a lot of parents who feel inferior, who may not have had a very good relationship in the school system. And so I want to be that
Right.
bridge to let them know, hey, you have a voice too. Hey, you can be an advocate for your child too. And then on the children's aspect, I like to mentor and I like to coach young girls.
Awesome. And I really feel that that is truly a need. I know I have a lot of friends who went into the education field, and over the course of the years, you do get so burnt down with just the fact that teachers have to discipline more than they teach.
Mm-hmm.
So with a new teacher, like, of course, they're like super excited and, they're ready to get into the classroom. But a lot of times what they learned in school is not is what's happening in the classroom. So
Yeah.
how do you kind of guide them through your process?
So the first thing, a lot of times they'll give you things like the Harry ones, first day of schools, and all these different things. Don't smile until December. All these things that are booked and taught from books without really any changing knowledge. And there are new things that are out now, but just letting them know there are certain situations, giving them real life situation, how things happen and how you can navigate. One thing that I do is I use declarations in my classroom, declarations, affirmations.
Yes.
That we say every day. So that's kind of like our guideline. That's kind of like our base, and really giving them timetables to structure out their days and their weeks. Because with new teachers, they want to do their best. They want to give all their time. They want to stay after school. They want to go spend all their money. And 2 and 3 years later, they're burnt out. And so we just put things in place to say, hey, you be wise and you be strong about what it is that you want to accomplish.
Okay.
And then you have to leave the rest of it home, because a lot of times we take that stuff on. And so if we can be proactive in the classroom, making really good relationship with the parents, holding everybody accountable, getting the child to see I really have your best interest at heart, then they can make more strides. And so those are just some of the things I do. It's more of a coaching, encouragement. I sit down and lesson plan with them. I sit down and teach them. When you have conflict with your principal, or you have a conflict with a coworker, how do you handle that versus feeling like, you get walked on and stepped on because you're the new person you feel like you don't have a lot of experience. And then taking the freshness and the newness and bringing it to the classroom and teaching in a way where you're going to love it and the kids are going to enjoy it without feeling intimidated and feeling like, if I mess up, what's going to happen. Or with evaluations, how we get really stressed about evaluations, but teach them how to just be your best self every day. So when it's time to be evaluated, you don't feel under pressure. And a lot of times I found out that people just need support.
Yes.
They need a support system, somebody who's been there, somebody who's done that. And so if you have a seasoned person who kind of knows the ropes, it's like, wow, it's very helpful. And the last thing I'll say is also having somebody that is not biased of the situation, that's not there, because sometimes the teacher's lounge can turn into like a death sentence. You're going, you're gossiping, but you have an outlet that you can talk to without it getting back to your job, an outlet you can talk to that can give you both sides of the spectrum and let you know this is probably what happened, this may have been miscommunication, and now how can we move forward and go through that.
Well, I hope you listeners truly got that. And I hope that my listeners, that if you're in that field and you're thinking about teaching, especially the career switchers, because I know a lot of people, especially in this season, people are maybe burnt out from corporate America. And so they're looking to find that passion project. So for you, I know that you were already a teacher, but just kind of take me back in your early years. Like, did you grow up and always wanted to be a teacher? So
when I initially grew up, I remember as probably 2nd or 3rd grade, I would sit in my room and I would play teacher. I'd be the teacher, I'd be the student, I'd create tests, I'd take the test. I was everything. So I love the aspect of being a teacher.
Okay.
But when I got into probably high school, I kind of was like, not really sure. And then, it was a thing, what you want to do in career, they'd be a lawyer, a doctor, all those things. And so in school, at first I wanted to do social work, but then I got in a class, I said, I don't think this is for me. So then I said, okay, I'm going to take an English track and I'm going to go to law school. But by the time my senior year came, I was poor, didn't have money. I just was ready to get out of school and start a career. And one of my friends said, they're having a job fair and you should go. And I went and I got the job and I was like, well, okay. And so I just did it for a couple of years, not really wanting to do it. I had very good mentors around me. And so, my observation, people said I did well, but my heart really wasn't in it. And so initially I did not want to be a teacher.
Wow. And now, so let me ask you this. So as a kid in high school, we all go through that, trying to find our niche and where we want to be. And a lot of times it'll change probably 10 times before we graduate.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something obviously there in your heart that really spoke to you, that you could really have an impact with young people. So in the school system, what subjects do you teach?
So I've taught middle school reading my
Okay.
entire time. And I think in second grade, when I started to be teacher and play teacher, I
Right.
had a first grade teacher who became my second grade teacher. Her name is Miss Teresa Warren. And to this day, I have a really good relationship with her. And she was so loving and she was so kind.
Right.
And I just loved her so much. And my third grade teacher was so nice and so kind. So those teachers in elementary school really left an impression on my heart. And I felt like if I ever was a teacher, those
Right.
were the two people that I really want to emulate my teaching style after.
That is awesome. And for many people, that's usually how it happens. And let me say that teachers have such a big responsibility and an impact for how you shape the lives of young people. And so you mentioned earlier that you also mentor girls. Is there an age group that you mentor?
I try to stick with the 8 to 12 range with the young girls, because some of them, that's fifth, sixth grade and up into middle school. That's the age range I try to stick to.
Okay. And with those girls, because we like to call those the preteens,
Mm-hmm.
like what type of programs do you do with them?
One of the programs that I do is called Help My Parents Don't Understand, and walking them through all the stages of life that they're going through and why they feel like they're right, and why their parent has their best interests at heart, and letting them kind of work through any self-esteem issues, any issues that they're going through as their body changing, as their faces change, as peers come with all this peer pressure. How can we have a balance between what it is you feel like you should have and the expectation that your parents tell you, and then the value system that you're going to cultivate even at a young age, so it can track you throughout your adult years.
Awesome. And so through your program, what I love is that you really identified your passion and you took it to the next level to kind of be your own boss. How did that even come about, that to have the fortitude that, I want to go from being a teacher, because I assume you're still teaching,
Yes.
to now I want to have, my side business to really pour into others?
Honestly, I just got tired of all the politics. I got tired
Mm.
because when I first started teaching, it was, here are standards, here's a curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
and as a teacher, we trust your professional judgment to get things that are going to be beneficial, get things that are culturally relatable to these children. Now where I am, everything is totally scripted for me. It literally says, teacher says this,
Mm.
students will respond sort of like this. These are the stories you have to read. These are the novels. And I said, I don't want to be a robot. It's no longer, I can no longer be passionate and creative and really be that innovative teacher if you're already telling me what I have to do. And so I
Right.
just got tired of that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing. And that way I can take all the strategies, everything I've learned in the school system, I take it and I tailor it to my business. So it was almost like a force out, because my creativity was being drained.
Yeah.
My passion was being drained, because I didn't literally have to think on my own. It was, they told me what to think and told me what to say and told me how to do it. And I said, no, that's not what I want to do.
No. Wow. And I love that. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, because I did some research on you, and a lot of what you say really, like you said earlier, speaks to Jeremiah 29:11, and a lot of, and with that scripture, it's about writing your vision down and making it plain and really going out for your dreams. So as you're on this journey, with working a full-time job and having your business, how do you manage all of your time?
That's a good question. Some days I don't think I do as well as others. But what I try to do is I just try to make sure that every day I am doing something that ties into this business. Even in
Mm-hmm.
school, where we have silent sustained reading every day at the beginning of class.
Okay.
And a lot of times those down moments are really ways where the Lord would download to me, and I keep sticky notes by me. And so I'm always jotting things down. I'm always putting stuff in my pockets and bringing a whole bunch of stuff home because
Right.
I always want to ever be learning. And because my business is educational related, everything that I see in the school system, when there's a problem or issue or whether I'm having a bad day, I try to take all of that stuff home and say, okay, Lord, how now can we create a solution to this so I can better serve, new teachers or teachers that's transitioning. So it's kind of like one and the same. When I come home, some days I have my schedule. And I
Right.
said, these are the things I have to do.
Okay.
These are the things that must get done. And a lot of times I use social media as an accountability for me, for the business aspect, because every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're praying and believing God for the school system. And
Okay.
so I know that as people are waiting for me, I have to get up and I do that. So some things are like set in stone for me to do, where I write other things down. And as I just go, I kind of evaluate every day. Did I do something that's going to be beneficial for the children? I do something that's beneficial for the student teacher. And the days I don't, I said, well, I guess I just needed the rest. And so I just take it like that.
Well, fantastic. And so, like, who are some of your mentors? Because I know that everyone, at some point in their life has to kind of have a mentor. So, who are your mentors for you?
Well, the educational mentor that I have, her name is Robin Buckham. She's like an unofficial mentor to me, but
Okay.
my I think my 3 through 7 years. When I first started teaching in North Carolina, I didn't have a teaching license. I went in as what they call lateral entry.
Right.
And so you had 3 years to get your license. Well,
Mhm.
I didn't do it. And so I lost my job. And the lady at the county was saying, well, I know a principal. She just opened up a charter school in Greensboro. You should go see her. So I went and saw this lady on a Friday.
Okay.
She needed a teacher. And she said, well, okay, come on. And so I was really I knew myself as a person. I just wasn't a good person. But that
Right.
lady stuck with me. I mean, she could have fired me probably 65,000 times.
Oh, goodness.
Stuck with me. So she see me as a new bad kind of type of teacher. And over the years, she has helped me in so many things. And I have issues or problems, she's always my go-to person, because she'll say, well, Walden, I know you. And now that she's seen the change and the growth, even last year,
Yes.
asked me, she says, she told me, you name the salary, I will bring you back to school, but I don't want to go back to North Carolina. So she has been a person who mentors me educational wise. I have my pastor, I have a spiritual mother, and I have a mentor who, keeps me grounded and centered with my spiritual life. But those are the people who really like pour into me on a consistent basis.
Awesome. And all that you're doing is truly adding value. And so when you have, folks in your tribe, and as you're growing your business, obviously you're getting people that are really connecting to you. So are your audience, or basically your community, are these folks just all teachers, or do you have kind of a myriad of different people that, really follow you?
It's definitely a myriad of people, and it's ironic because I used to always say, well, Lord, I'm trying to reach professionals or educators. And what he shared me, he says, not teachers, parents are the first educator their child will ever see.
Yes. Yes.
So I have a lot of parents who follow. A lot of my family follows and watches. And so it's a lot of my followers, they're between 30 and 35, and they're usually young single mothers that follow.
Okay. And with young single mothers, like, how do you kind of tap into those women to really inspire them to kind of find their passion?
One thing I always let them know is that, even though you are the mother, you are responsible, you're the caretaker of these children, that you have to believe that everything that you instill in them, that God is going to work that stuff out, and that you can't beat yourself up all the time. And a lot of
Right.
times kids are influenced by school and what they see, but you have
Yeah.
to be a very advocate of your child. And then once you start tapping into how to reach your child, you'll start seeing what is your passion or passion, or what are things you can add, value to your children. A lot of them, sometimes they are frustrated with the school system. I ask them, well, what could you do that can free up your time? Therefore, if you want to go make a meeting, or if you want to pop up at the school, what are you putting in place that's going to allow you to do that? And so some of them think, and then one of them who's really been following me for a while, she started her own catering business. She really,
Wow. Okay.
really wants to start, being more of a advocate in the school system and showing up and being present. But of course, we're all about freeing up our time. And so that's just one example of how we do it. And I'm always encouraging that no matter what's going on in the school system, no matter what may happen with your child, that God is with them. And you just have to keep sowing those seeds of greatness in them, because you're going to see a harvest. It may not be right now. It may seem like it's going to go out of control, but you are going to see a harvest. And just really teach them how to be resilient and to have tenacity and to never give up. Because I see a lot of things. I'm thinking, man, this is unbearable. Like, these kids don't want to listen, but you just keep sowing seeds and eventually it's going to pay out.
Yes, it will. And I can definitely advocate for that, because I too am a parent, and I have 2 high school students, and one is my son who has special needs. And so I am always advocating and always preaching about advocating for your kids. And so you are pouring into so many people every day, from the kids to the administration to your own clients and customers. And I know there's got to be moments where you do get exhausted from pouring into so many people. So what are some daily spiritual practices that you do to kind of help you get through each day?
I always have to make sure that I'm praying. And some days I don't sit and do a whole sermon, a whole Bible. Sometimes I wake up and say, Lord, I thank you today. I cover my family in the blood of Jesus. Thank you that you guide us. One thing that helps me when I'm doing the student teachers, that we have affirmations in my first book, and I'm always speaking those things out. And with the declaration I do with the children, those are they're scriptural based.
Yeah.
And so when we say those in the classroom every day, I'm giving God his word back to him, like right there. We're all giving it back to him. So those are things I do. And I make sure that I try to, if I don't read something, that I'm listening to my Bible app, just to kind of make sure I'm digesting some kind of word on the inside. I watch YouTube to watch like different sermons. And then I love music. Most of the music I listen to is Christian or gospel music. And so that stuff gets in my spirit when I go on my way to work. And then sometimes I play the instrumental version in the classroom. And so all that stuff just kind of calms me and brings me down. Kids don't like it, but it calms them down too.
Amen. We definitely need prayer in schools, because I know we still fight that to bring it back into schools.
Yeah.
And so let's switch gears here. So not only are you a teacher, and you are running your business to teach other teachers how to be teachers, somehow you found time to write, how many books did I say? Let me look back at my notes. 6 self-published books. And they had a nerve to be a 3-time best-selling Amazon author. Please share with us, how did you find the time to write books?
Okay, so when I first came to Maryland, I was just in a really distraught space, and it was like, as the Lord was dealing with me, he would start to show me so much of me and these children, and I knew how it was to be broken as a child and to go through things. And so I just used to start praying for them. And initially I said, I'm going to do a devotional, teacher devotional, because we go through so much stuff and we got to deal with these kids. It's all about dealing with these kids. And as I started writing it out, I said by the summertime, July of 2015, it was going to be out. Well, it kind of fell out.
Right.
And so July of 2016, I started a prayer call on Sunday nights for the school system. And for me, when I like to pray, I like to get scripts and I like to write it out. So I will always write my prayers out. And that went on for months and months and months. And so around December, the Lord was like, well, I want you to come out and do Facebook Live. So I started doing the prayers Monday through Friday at 6:45 in the morning. And I would stay up and I would write the prayers out. And after a while, I had so much stuff wrote out. And I said, well, maybe I should just put it in the book. And I finally put it in the book. And I told you, I always have sticky notes.
Yeah.
I always have things in my notes in my phone. And I just started gathering and putting this stuff together. And whenever I get a lot of content or something, I go ahead and start formatting, and I'll put it in a document. And as it comes to me, then I have this stuff already set up. And so those 6 books, it was like a lot of it was new content, but it was also some of the old stuff that I had in my phone already, or things that were just in my mind that I never thought to put down. And so once I wrote my first one, I was like, okay, I can do this. And then I just started like pumping them out and pumping them out. And so even now with the student teacher, one of the things I've ventured out to do is to help new and novice authors publish their books. And I just finished working with my second client yesterday, and she was so excited. And so it's really, I tell people, everybody has a story. It's just how you get it out and how you share it, but everybody has a story.
And that is so true. And that's why I have guests like yourself on my show, because I truly believe that the stories that we have in our own life need to be shared with others, because somebody could be blessed by what you share. And they could go, if this person could, go through their stuff and still manage to come out on the other side, then I know I can do it. Yeah. And so what does your family say about kind of just all of this wonderfulness that is happening in your life?
My mom and my aunt, they are very, very supportive.
Awesome.
Initially when I came out, I used to just share a lot of like my personal stories and the things I went through as a kid. And at first, a lot of the things that had happened to me as a young girl, I didn't tell my mom until like a lot of stuff was like last year.
Right.
And so it just brought us closer together. But it also, as a parent, I didn't understand it because I don't have kids, where she felt like she failed me as a mom because there were so many things that I went through that I held in that I didn't tell her. She felt like, perhaps she could have protected me more. Right. But one night she told me, she says, baby, you just say what the Lord tells you. And when I say that, just freed me so much. And so I'm very tactful in what I say, but anything that the Lord frees me, allows me to share personally or anything, I always share that. But my family, they have been a major supporter. Usually when I'm on my tours, on my book tours, one of my brothers that lives in DC, he's with me.
Okay.
And my aunts, they come on, my uncles come on and support the show. They're sharing. When I do have things that's local in North Carolina, they show up. And so they really excited. At first, they didn't really know like what she's doing. But now they are really supportive.
That is amazing. And when I was kind of looking out there on social media, I came across one of your quotes, and I thought it was so poignant for this moment that we're in. You said, you don't need to tell all your business to people, but you do need to tell it to the person or people who can help you. And so I know you must live that every day. And you said it earlier, it's freeing when you share your story. So do you share that with your audience about, really reaching out and sharing your story so someone can help you?
I do. I absolutely do. And I try to lead by example. I try to share things in my life and things that I've done and mistakes I've made and mistakes I'm currently making, so they can see that I'm not just the person that's telling you that, but I'm actually walking through this. So I can tell you all the 55 emotions you go through, how you see it, and then you say it or you post it and then you want to take it back, or you're like, oh my God, what are people going to say? And the job of the kids find out, what are they going to? So I try to lead by example. And I also tell them, you just have to let people know what's going on, because not only does it helps somebody else, but it unlocks us out of the prison mindset and the cage that we hold ourselves in, because we feel like we did so much, we're messed up so bad that nobody can help us. But when you share it with people who are supposed to help you, then they will let you know, honey, I done been through that now. It's not that we give a pass, but I've been through that, or I know people that have been through that. We help you get through it. And so I do share a lot. Listen, you got to tell your story, tell it to somebody that can help you.
Absolutely. So how can people get in contact with you?
Well, they can first start, they can always go to my website, SimeneWalden.com. That's SIMENE Walden, WALDN.com.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, and Twitter at Simene Walden. And then my business page is on Facebook at The Student Teacher. And so you can always reach me any of those platforms. I am available if you go to my website, you can email me too.
Okay. And awesome. So those are really great touch points for folks to get in touch with you. So what is next for Miss Simene?
June 23rd, here
Okay.
in Jessup, Maryland. I'm doing my first symposium. It's called The Heart of a Teacher. And so
Ooh.
that is what we're working on currently right now. I'm excited about it. Never did anything like this before, but I put it out there, and the Lord has allowed 8 other amazing speakers to say, yes, I'm going to come alongside. And so it's going to be a full day of it just sharing from different arenas and avenues. What does it mean to have the heart of a teacher in your specific discipline that you teach? So we have PR specialists, we have people who train assistant principals, we have someone who's in the fashion industry, and we're all one in ministry. So we bring in all of our knowledge and expertise together and say, this is how I have the heart for what I teach.
And when's the symposium again?
It's June 23rd here in Jessup, Maryland.
Okay, fantastic. And before I let you go, I always love to ask my guests, I'm going to mention 3 words to you, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when you hear it.
Okay.
The first word is love.
Jesus.
Hope.
My mom.
Inspiration.
The students that I teach.
Well, Miss Simene Walden, it has truly been a pleasure to have you on my show. I cannot tell you, I just want to thank you for your service, because truly education is so critical. And I hope for my listeners, you definitely reach out to her and definitely attend her some teaching symposium, because I think you're going to learn so much. And I just want to thank you again for sharing your story with us and being on our show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for extending the opportunity to me. I really, truly appreciate it.
And that is our show. Join us next time on Inspiring Nations with Sonia Keeve.